Hi everyone, welcome back to Raw FPL. So in this one, it's the Game Week 15 team selection. Game Week 14 still on, and I've currently got Smith Rowe and Pedro who are going to play. So yeah, just to get this video out in time for the next game week, I'm just going to record it before these games have kicked off. I was kind of hoping, to be honest, that one of them would be benched because, as you'll see in a minute, I've actually got Isak first sub on my bench. Yeah, do you know what? I had a feeling he'd score. I actually put a poll out on X asking, whether to start Isak or not, because I had a feeling he'd score, but then logically I kind of thought, well, Liverpool like the best defence of the league currently, and he was flagged as well, so it was really a 50-50 decision, and obviously I benched him. But yeah, so I'm going to go over how I did so far in Game Week 14, and then I'll take a look at how the team is looking for Game Week 15, and just kind of discuss any transfers as well. So if you do like this one, please do drop a like and please hit subscribe if you're new, and let's jump into it. So let's take a look at Game Week 14 so far, and it has not gone well at all. A massive red arrow. I think I've dropped about 150k, so I'm down to 274k at the moment, which, I mean, it's still fine, but obviously I was just getting into that top 100k, and then I go and have a terrible week. Basically, everything that could have gone wrong, or nearly everything could have gone wrong, went wrong. I mean, the back four, three of them were benched, which is pretty crazy, considering we were saying how nailed Colwell was and Gabriel, and they both miss out. Colwell's got benched, Gabriel gets injured, and then Sanchez, he's played every game so far, I think, anyway. Yeah, he's played like every game so far, and then he goes and gets benched, so it's a bit annoying, but I'm hoping it's just kind of, just because it was a midweek game. But then over Christmas, you need your players to play, and having your goalkeeper not playing is just not ideal. So if I was to go new now, I would definitely get Raya over Sanchez, and it was between those two when I wildcarded. But yeah, I mean, I could potentially look to do a goalkeeper transfer, but I really don't want to do that. I'm just going to hold him and hope that he does actually start playing, because, as I said, I think it's probably just because he's played a load of games. And I do have Fabianski on my bench. Obviously, he goes and loses. He gets 2 points. But yeah, three of the back four not starting, it just didn't burn. And I mean, as soon as I saw the lineups, I was like, yeah, this is not going to be my week. Gomez, and this was the decision, it's whether or not I brought in Gomez for Kanate. Obviously, Kanate missed out. So Gomez going forward, I think he'll be an okay option. The fixtures are good, and he should play. Instead of Kanate joining up with Van Dijk. So he is a bit of risk because obviously he could get benched for Kwanzaa, but I'm kind of happy to take that risk for 4.8 million. If I've got a good bench, so it's not as much as a concern for me. But if you do need Gomez to play every week, I probably would just go somewhere elsewhere, a bit safer. I mean, it was going to be Colwell, but now we know he's benched, so I'd probably just go Van Heck, to be honest. He should play pretty much every game. But, the Christmas period, there's always rotations, so just bear that in mind. That's why it's always good to have a good bench during this period. But yeah, Gomez, going forward, I think he'll be all right. And yeah, it was that decision to bring him in, but then I didn't want to limit my points. So that's why I just backed the Liverpool defence and went with Gomez. And then that meant benching Isak. Looking at it now, it's kind of like, well, the plan initially was to just play Isak instead of Smith Rowe. And obviously that, we don't know how Smith Rowe is going to do tonight, but 11 points on the bench is a bit annoying, especially because, two players there, Colwell and Gabriel, they're going to get subbed on for Mazraoui and Hall, who both got 1 point. So yeah, not a good week at all. Saka blanked, Bruno blanked. Bruno also played in that deeper role, which we need to keep an eye on, because if he keeps playing that role, I'm going to get him out, I think, because, yeah, 0xG, that's not ideal. And, I mean, it is against Arsenal, right? So I'm going to keep him against Forest. I wouldn't panic, and I wouldn't sell him, like, now. I think keep him against Forest, see where he plays, because I'm hoping it was just a midweek rotation, so he should be back to playing that number 10, which is obviously where we want him. So I'm going to keep him for now. I kind of reassess it after the Nottingham Forest game. And then Salah, he's just on an absolute mad run. I mean, this run here, 18, 13, 13, 14, 9, it's just crazy. Like, yeah, I mean, 10.8 per match is pretty insane. If you've not gone Salah, just get him in. I don't know what. I mean, these fixtures as well, he could easily just continue. He's on. I think he got like 302 points or something, 308 points maybe. That was his best, and he could definitely be that this season. So yeah, if you've not got Salah, if you've still got Haaland, just make that switch. Just yeah, I'd just get him in. I chose the wrong captain. It was quite close between Salah and Palmer, but I was fairly set on Palmer. I just think I was trying to play the fixture, and to be honest, if you look at the XG, Salah 0.7 XG, 0.24 assist, and then Palmer 1.49 XG, and then 0.33. So like another day, if I was to tell you that Southampton were going to be down to 10 men, you'd go with Cole Palmer, and it was unlucky. He could have had way more. So another day, that's completely different. Palmer gets a brace, and Salah doesn't. So I think having those two, I'm definitely glad. I think that is the setup. Saka, Palmer, and Salah together. They're the three you want in midfield. But in terms of like captaincy, I think I'm just going to try and play the fixture. If it's quite close, I'll probably just go with Salah. So yeah, Palmer, he got the goal. As I said, it could have been a lot more. Smith Rowe, he's yet to play. As I said, it would be better for me if he just didn't play, because then I've got Isak coming in. Larsson, I don't know what's happened to them. 4-0 against Everton. That was pretty unexpected. But yeah, he's a cheap forward, so I can't complain too much. Again, it's just annoying because really I want to play my premium forwards, and I just didn't. I think I got too caught up in, I didn't want it to hinder Gomez, whereas I should have just looked at it as like an individual player. So that's a bit annoying with Larsson with 2 and Pedro still to play. So yeah, that's how we did so far anyway, in game week 14. 40 points plus the massive score of Fabianski, Hall and Mazraoui. So yeah, it'll be 44 points plus whatever Smith Rowe and João Pedro get. As I said, at the moment, I mean, it shouldn't be as bad as this because I've still got those 2 players plus the subs coming on, but yeah, overall rank down from, I think it was 126 down to 274k. So it's a big red arrow. But this game week's over soon, and we'll be back to game week 15, where the team's looking quite good. So let's talk about that. And yeah, the less spoken about game week 14, probably the better. So let's talk about game week 15 and see how the team is looking. Okay, so looking at game week 15, then, I mean, yeah, on paper it looks pretty good. I'm a bit torn between Fabianski and Sanchez. Tottenham away just isn't the best fixture at all. So I'm tempted to play Fabianski. Obviously, Wolves just blanked then. But yeah, between them two, it's quite close. As usual, I'll put it in the comments what I actually do. But yeah, I'm thinking currently play Fabianski. Wolves at home. It's a home fixture, and Wolves are obviously the weaker side compared to Tottenham. And then we've got in defence, we've got Gomez against Everton. I mean, I do expect Everton to score. They're always quite up for the derby. But we'll have to see. I could play Hall. It's probably between Hall and Gomez, but to be honest, it might not matter because if Gabriel's out, then I'm going to play whoever anyway. So Gomez, as I said, going forward, he's pretty good long term. Everton, Fulham, Spurs. I mean, Spurs isn't easy, but then you've got Leicester, West Ham. And then get a bit more tricky. But long term, you can play him till about game week 25, and they're absolutely fine. So that's why I quite like Gomez. And for 4.8, with a bench, I think he's probably worth it. If you don't have a good bench, as I said, I'd just pay the extra for like Van Dijk, or I'd even go to someone like Timber. If you've not got triple Arsenal already, Timber at 5.6 could be a really good shout. With Ben White out, he should play pretty much all the games as well. So yeah, Gomez, Mazraoui, Forest at home. Fine to play him. He's obviously playing as a back 3, but he still is getting forward at times. So I'm fine to keep him for now. Obviously, would like him to play as a wing back, but I'd rather he gets the starts, which he is. So yeah, keep an eye on him. But happy to play him against Forest. And then Gabriel, as I said, he might be injured still. I'm going to play him. I wouldn't be selling him anytime soon because the fixture's coming up. If you can just bench him, because these fixtures for Arsenal, you'd expect them to get a few clean sheets here. So Gabriel, as I said, if you can double up and get Timber, then I think that's a good idea. But yeah, Gabriel for me, he's the number 1 Arsenal asset besides Saka. Defensively, you want Gabriel. And obviously in midfield, Saka, he is a good captaincy shout, and I am debating it. I think he'll probably be my vice, but yeah, for me, Salah, the form he's in, he's just hard to go against at the moment. So I'm probably going to captain Salah. I think the vice will be Saka. But again, Palmer, Tottenham can see quite a lot. So all three of them are quite good captain shouts. If you've got a feeling for one of them, just go for it. But I think for me, Salah, he's on mad form at the moment. So gonna go captain Salah. As I say, Palmer's a good option, but I'm for me, I think I'm just gonna go on Salah because the form is ridiculous. And then Fernandez, as I say, he's one to keep an eye on because if he plays the number 6 again in that more defensive role, the deeper role, then I probably will look to move him on soon. Probably not now because obviously I'm going to leave just see how he goes against Forest. But then he's got Man City away, and even Bournemouth's not a good game really. So I could move him on for someone like a Bowen, but again, I'll discuss that in the next video. But we're going to wait and see with Fernandez, see how he plays. If he plays in the number 10, then that's obviously where we want him. And long term, you'd have thought that's where he will play. I think it was just rotation, him playing a bit more defensive. And then up top, I'm not making the same mistake again. Isak, I'm going to get him in. He looked really good, and what an absolute goal that was. He looked really good. And towards the end, when they were breaking, I don't know, they probably should have played on. He just blew the whistle as Newcastle were on the break, so he could have had more returns. So yeah, I'm going to play Isak. He looked really good. Obviously, a lot of people went for Jackson. If you've got Jackson, then you just play him, right? You just play him. I know he's got 4 yellow cards, but you just play him in all of these, and you just hope that, he ideally don't get a yellow card because I think it's 19 games or something. So he could go without a yellow card, but it's more than likely that he will get suspended at some point. I mean, you just bench him for that. But yeah, for me, Isak, he'll play. Strand Larson, again, I'm just going to play these two guys, both quite nice and cheap. Larson, West Ham, it's a fine fixture, do you know what I mean? It's absolutely okay. But the one thing with Larson is for Larson to do well, Fabianski has to concede. So that is a reason why I'm debating swapping these two around. But then I think Tottenham will score. So it's a kind of 50-50 between those two. As I said, I'll let you know on my socials and that what I actually do. And then João Pedro, Leicester away, good enough fixture for him, and he's on pens. And he's still pretty cheap, 5.8, right? If you do need a cheap forward, I think João Pedro still is the one, 5.8 mil, and you can kind of play even Villa and Arsenal. Arsenal you look to bench him, but long term, his fixtures are just really good. So yeah, I still like João Pedro, even at 5.8, still a good bargain. And on the bench, Smith Rowe, home at Arsenal. Home at Arsenal? Arsenal at home. That's right, that's the one. Yeah, I think, obviously difficult fixture. I'm just going to bench him. I've got Hall to come in if Gabriel is out, and then Colwell last on the bench, Tottenham away. So, yeah, that is the team for 15. Bit boring, going to roll it. I'm just going to see what happens with Bruno, and then going into game week 16, I'll then have 3 free transfers, which is the first time this season as well. And then that's when I might look to do a few changes. Obviously, up top looks good. Even the defense looks good. I can just bring in, Colwell, or I can bring in Hall. And to be honest, I could roll again, but Bruno, I could potentially sell Bruno here. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm going to see how Bruno plays, see what position he plays, and take it from there. So yeah, if you do have any questions, drop them in the comments. Let me know what you think. Bruno, as I said, that's the only real concern at the moment. But as I said, for now, I'm just going to keep hold. And yeah, best of luck. I'll catch you again after the deadline. So if you did like this one, please do drop a like. And please hit subscribe if you're new. And I'll catch you again next time. Cheers.